The attack at Lake Berryessa shocked investigators. It was unlike anything the Zodiac had done before. He had approached his victims directly, spoken to them, tied them up, and used a knife instead of a gun. He had worn a costume with his symbol on the chest. He had written on the victim's car door, and he had called the police afterward. This was not a man who feared being seen. He was confident, bold, and willing to escalate. Police departments across Northern California began working together more closely. Vallejo, Napa, Fairfield, and San Francisco shared information, hoping to find a pattern. But the Zodiac did not follow a pattern. He changed his methods constantly. He attacked in rural areas, then in cities. He used guns, then knives. He communicated through letters, then through phone calls. Investigators realized they were dealing with someone who enjoyed unpredictability. He wanted the police to chase him. He wanted the public to fear him. He wanted to control the narrative. The Lake Berryessa attack also provided new evidence. Brian Hartnell survived and gave a detailed account of the attacker's behavior. He described the costume, the symbol, the calm voice, and the way the killer moved. Brian's testimony became one of the most important pieces of information in the case. But even with a survivor, a written message, and a phone call, the Zodiac remained ahead of investigators. He continued sending letters, each one filled with arrogance and confidence. He mocked the police for failing to catch him. He hinted at future attacks. He claimed he had more victims than the police knew about. The fear grew. On the night of October 11th, 1969, San Francisco was busy with weekend activity. People filled restaurants, theaters, and bars. The city felt alive. But in the quiet neighborhood of Presidio Heights, something happened that would change the Zodiac case forever. At around 9:55 p.m., a taxi driver named Paul Stine picked up a passenger at the intersection of Mason and Geary Streets. The passenger asked to be taken to Washington and Maple Streets. Paul drove to the location and stopped the car. What happened next was quick and brutal. The passenger shot Paul Stine once in the head. He then leaned over the front seat, wiped surfaces to remove fingerprints, and took Paul's wallet and keys. He also tore off a piece of Paul's shirt. After finishing, he calmly stepped out of the taxi and walked away. A group of teenagers witnessed the scene from a nearby house. They immediately called the police. Officers arrived within minutes, but the killer had already disappeared into the darkness of the Presidio, a large park filled with trees and hiding places. This attack was different from all previous Zodiac crimes. It happened in a city, not a rural area. The victim was a taxi driver, not a couple. The killer did not use a secluded location. He killed in a neighborhood with houses, witnesses, and police patrols. Investigators were confused. Was this really the Zodiac? The method was different. The victim type was different. The location was different. But the answer came soon. 2 days later, the San Francisco Chronicle received a letter. Inside was a piece of Paul Stine's shirt. The killer claimed responsibility for the murder and mocked the police for failing to catch him, even though they were so close. The letter also revealed something disturbing. The killer had watched the police officers searching for him. He wrote that he had been hiding in the park, watching them with amusement. This confirmed that the Zodiac was not only bold, but also enjoyed playing games with law enforcement. The Paul Stine murder changed the investigation completely. San Francisco Police Department became heavily involved. The case was no longer limited to small towns. It was now a major city investigation. Witnesses described the killer as a white male, around 35 to 45 years old, with short brown hair and glasses. This description became one of the most famous images associated with the Zodiac case. But even with witnesses, a shirt piece, and a detailed description, the killer remained uncaught. After the murder of Paul Stine, the Zodiac entered a new phase. He began sending more letters, each one more disturbing than the last. He threatened school buses, claiming he would shoot children as they rode to school. He described how he would attack them. He wrote about enjoying the fear he created. Schools increased security. Parents became terrified. Police escorted buses. The entire region felt under threat. The Zodiac also sent letters filled with strange symbols, diagrams, and references to bombs. He claimed he had built explosives and placed them around the Bay Area. Police searched locations but found nothing. It became clear that the killer enjoyed psychological terror as much as physical violence. One of the most famous letters included a diagram of a bomb and instructions on how it supposedly worked. The killer wrote that he wanted to see people running in fear. He enjoyed watching the chaos he created. Another letter included a new cipher. This one was shorter and more complex. It took decades before it was finally solved. When decoded, the message revealed the killer's arrogance and his desire to be recognized. He wrote about enjoying the attention and mocked the idea that he would ever be caught. The Zodiac also began referencing pop culture, newspapers, and television. He reacted to articles written about him. He corrected mistakes made by journalists. He criticized police statements. He wanted to be part of the public conversation. The letters showed that the Zodiac was not only a killer, but also someone who enjoyed manipulating the media. He wanted to shape his own legend. He wanted to be remembered. But while the letters continued, the attacks stopped. After Paul Stine, no confirmed Zodiac murders occurred. This made the case even more confusing. Was he finished? Was he hiding? Was he still watching? Investigators had no answers. As the Zodiac continued sending letters, investigators began focusing on potential suspects. Over the years, hundreds of names were considered. Some were quickly dismissed. Others became central to the case. The most famous suspect was Arthur Lee Allen, a man with a disturbing background and several connections to the case. He was known to have violent tendencies. He lived near the crime scenes. He owned weapons similar to those used in the attacks. He wore a watch with the Zodiac symbol, and several people described him as strange and unpredictable. Investigators interviewed Allen multiple times. They searched his home. They collected evidence, but nothing definitively connected him to the murders. His handwriting did not match the Zodiac letters. His fingerprints did not match those found on the payphone. His DNA did not match the samples available. Despite this, many people still believe Allen was the Zodiac, but the evidence remains inconclusive. Other suspects included men with military backgrounds, men with cryptography experience, and men who lived near the crime scenes. Some were connected through strange coincidences. Others were linked through circumstantial evidence, but none were proven to be the killer. The Zodiac case became one of the most complex investigations in American history. It involved multiple police departments, thousands of tips, dozens of suspects, and countless theories. Even with modern technology, including DNA analysis, the case remains unsolved. The killer's identity is still unknown. His motives are still debated. His letters remain iconic, and his symbol continues to be one of the most recognizable images in true crime history. The Zodiac Killer changed Northern California forever. He created fear, chaos, and confusion. He manipulated the media. He mocked the police. He played games with the public. And he disappeared without ever being caught.